Hey, Becky, how are you? It's good to see
Good.
you.
You too.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. It's been a while since we've spoken, but we have known each other. I first met you actually a little over 3 years ago. And you were suffering from chronic headaches. So tell me a little bit about what life was like at that time.
Yeah, just over 3 years ago, I had a pain level anywhere from 8 to 10 daily. It was all over the back of my head. It came into the front. Wasn't always in the front, but occasionally when it got bad, um, it did that. And then it was like shooting pains up the back of my head with a chronic ache on top of that. Every day was a challenge, to get up out of bed. And I would have to get up extra early just to give time to try and like stretch my neck out, take a hot shower, drink some coffee, like anything that I could do to give myself just a little bit more energy because I had no energy.
Yeah.
During that time when it started, I was in my undergrad in college, so I was still in school and I had to get a lot of tutors to help me. I had a lot of friends at school to help. My parents would come see me in my dorms on the weekend just to give whatever support they could. And it just wasn't functioning. I felt depressed at times, crying a lot, did whatever I could just to push through school, push through the day, make it so I could just sleep at night,
Right.
taking pain medications, headache medications, anti-inflammatories. Sometimes it'd make me a zombie. And I'd feel worse.
Yeah.
Nothing really helped. I was in and out of hospitals, being admitted, trying to just manage the pain, tried Botox, infusions, nerve stimulator. There's even more on top of that, that I did, and nothing, would take away the pain or really even lessen it.
Yeah. Sounds, it's remarkable listening to you say that all again. Of course, you told me that when you first came in, but to hear you then say, wow, I was only, quote, a little depressed. Wow, I would be a lot depressed. That seems like a tremendous amount to go through. When you say you have no energy, just thinking about it is exhausting, much less, I would think, going through it. So, it sounds like life was pretty challenging. So at the end of the day, kind of skipping forward a little bit, we did two operations several months apart, one to treat the nerves in the back of the head, and then another one where we went and cut one final nerve in the back of the head and did everything in the front and the temple on the sides. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was because it's been so long, meaning just about 3 years, almost to the day from your first operation, and about 2.5 years from your second one. So one of the comments people have made is, how long does this actually last? Is this a permanent thing? And, how are people doing a year, 2 years, 3 years later? So one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you is what's life like now?
Yeah. So, after my first surgery, probably like within the month, I started feeling a difference. It felt pretty quick for me. For others, it could take longer, and it wasn't 100% better, but I just felt, this relief of pressure. I wasn't having like as much sharp shooting pains anymore.
Okay.
I was pretty numb, but that was always manageable to deal with. And as time goes on, the numbness, you don't feel as much, at least I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I, touch my head or lay my head to a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain, went from that 8 to 10 to probably like with the first surgery, a 5, which is great really for me because of the amount of pain that I was in 24/7.
Sure.
Yeah. And then, as time went on over the months, it was lessening. And some days I still have some bad days where the pain would spike up a little bit, but that was always related to either weather changes, poor sleep, and dehydration, I would say, are kind of like my triggers to have increased pain. So
Right.
I know what I have to watch and manage, and with the weather you can't control, unfortunately. So that's really when my bad days are.
Right.
And then, and then the second surgery, again, it was easy. I felt great within like 2 weeks after that. I was back to work within a month. That's when the pain dropped to low as a 3. And, daily I'm between a 3, 4, maybe 5, but it's just still so much more manageable. And in the back is where I had, 100% of the pain, or 100% of the time I always had pain there. And it would just kind of creep up over into the front, behind my eyes, to the temples. And that in the front, though, is like 90% gone. That's very rare that I get it there. Again, that's usually just when it gets worse with the weather and such. But I just have a constant ache a little bit in the back, but again, it's just much more manageable. I'm working full time. I finished my master's degree in clinical social work.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah. After that first surgery, we got married, and then that's when I came back to you after to have another surgery. Yeah. And then, we bought a house, and we had our first child.
He's turning 1 this month, right? So congratulations.
Yes, that's Cameron, and he's climbing on the table here because.
Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy.
Just woke up. My sister's here.
He's adorable.
Thanks. So it was definitely, I've had so many accomplishments, and within that same job that I got, just this last September, I transferred, working in inpatient psychiatric care, which is very demanding, always on my feet, and, but it's great. I'm able to do that. And prior to surgery, there's no way I'd be able to do that. I wasn't even thinking about having a baby. Well, I wanted to, but I was like, I don't know how I'm going to take care of a baby with this pain.
Right.
And it's worked.
Yeah. So it seems like, in some ways, like night and day, I know there's still challenges, but, as you were talking, I wanted to kind of ask one other thing, because I think, again, your perspective, and this is one of the other many reasons to have you on, your background in behavioral and mental health. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, the fact that, yes, you still have pain and there's still sort of a challenge with that, but at the same time, it seems like, and again, this is sort of my take on it, so I don't want to speak for you, but, your life is so full in so many other ways in which it wasn't before. You have a career, you have a really strong relationship, and I'm sure it was just as strong before, but now, you're married, you have a home that you're building, you have a family that you're building. Maybe you can talk about how, the fact that some of those other things are all, moving in a positive direction, and are, while, again, having a family, having a house, all that stuff is also challenging. Does that impact, the fact that there are other things in your life? Does that, you feel that it makes the residual symptoms more challenging, or is it in some ways easier to deal with because of those?
Yeah, it's definitely easier. I always feel, and I try to encourage a lot of other patients that I talk to that are going through the same things that I went through, who are considering surgery. And it's just, for me, the more you sit still, you don't continue with life, and you are constantly thinking about that pain, which I know it's very difficult to do because it's always there. But it definitely helps. You have your support system. You need to get back into some exercising, even if it's light exercising. What I mean, even just going for walks. Like, I'm not some heavy exercise person at all. But just when the weather's nice, hiking. Take your dogs out. And having a baby, like I said before, I didn't think I could do it, but they keep your mind busy and keep you going and active, which helps too. Releasing those endorphins, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you mentioned with exercise. There's actually some reasonable data out there, and I couldn't agree more. I am kind of a big exercise person. I try to work out a lot. Used to do Ironman triathlons and so forth. Don't do that, now. But there is actually some pretty good data out there that high intensity interval training, those sort of intense exercises like those Tabata types of things that you see in, some of the Peloton classes, or some of these boot camp types of exercise programs. Actually, for the exact reasons you mentioned, they are shown to release endorphins in your body, which are sort of natural painkillers, if you will. And actually, in small doses, and because you can't obviously do that kind of exercise, for 4 hours a day, but it seems to really help. And there's a lot of I guess, work in the psychiatric community, because one of our breast cancer patients happens to work in that field. And she was telling me that they are recommending that type of exercise to patients with depression and anxiety, and actually finding that as much as, for example, Prozac or whatever medication they might be on, this has a very powerful effect. And so everything you're saying really makes a lot of sense. And, I always felt pretty good after a good workout, but, I guess now maybe we know why. So I think it's really neat. And well, listen, I want to give you the last word because, that's what I always try to do. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, but otherwise I will certainly thank you for your time. And you're obviously very busy, so really appreciate, you letting us into your life and sharing your story. And, I'm so obviously glad that you're doing so well.
Yeah, thank you. I think, just in general, if anyone has questions that wants to speak to someone who's been through it, I'm open to, talking with anybody. I've done it a lot over the last 3 years. I know what that's like to feel, I guess, anxious or just not know, you've tried so many things. And, I've even tried this surgery with a different surgeon before you, not exactly the same, but decompression, and it totally failed. So it really matters that you get with the right surgeon who's knowledgeable on it. And just because you've had other procedures that didn't work doesn't mean this won't work. And I would just encourage anybody to, still speak with you, ask all the questions that, they have, just like I did with you, and you answer them, in order to find help, and hopefully, you're able to help them.
All right. Well, thank you again for those kind words, and taking time out of your busy life, which is so wonderful. All right. Take care, and I'm sure we'll continue to chat over the years.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.